Welcome to the Stacked Supplement Podcast, the premier source for supplement news and reviews.
Thank you for tuning in for another weekly wrap-up on the Stacked Supplement Podcast, where we take you through some of the top stories we shared over the past 7 days. As per usual, we do have a guest on this week's show with the man behind Performax Labs, who is also the maker of our now number one ranked pre-workout HyperMax Extreme. We'll be closing out the show with him, and definitely a great listen. But to start things off, we actually have two interesting stories from VMI Sports. This past week, the brand basically dropped two pre-workout supplements. Each of them are quite different, very different from each other. For the first one being a product called Nitro Test. Now, if the name doesn't give it away, Nitro Test is a testosterone boosting pre-workout. Now, this isn't something we haven't seen before, but definitely something that's new for VMI's followers, fans and followers. The brand has basically combined a bunch of stimulants along with betaine anhydrous, as well as D-aspartic acid, calcium, to take care of the testosterone side of things. Also in Nitro Test is a pump blend with agmatine sulfate and sodium nitrate. So it's it's almost like a triple threat pre-workout with the energy, testosterone, and pumps. And as the other pre-workout VMI it's dropped is essentially just for pumps, and it's called Pump XR. Much like Nitro Test, it includes nitrates to help with pumps. However, instead of featuring just sodium nitrate, VMI's Pump XR has two versions or two forms of nitrates with betaine nitrate and sodium nitrate, and it also actually has betaine in the mix as well. The brand did tell us you can't stack these two together due to the nitrate, so they are to be treated separate. But definitely, if you're a big fan of pump pre-workouts, it might be worth a look. It's a Pump XR has been kept pretty simple and pretty straightforward, but in our experience with pump pre-workouts, stimulant-free ones, it tends to be the simpler and sometimes more straightforward products that deliver good pumps for us. Same with Nitro Test. If you're a fan or you're always interested in testosterone boosting supplements, check it out. And we go from that on to essentially another interesting product from the guys over at Inspired. Inspired is very well known for its pre-workouts, or at least its pre-workout name, Devastate, which is, it's spelled DVST and then the number 8. They basically dropped, at least finally unveiled, a new version of their muscle potentiator Legend. Like Devastate, it's spelled shorthand, spelled just letters, so it's not the entire name. But Legend has actually been around from Inspired for a very long time. They launched it quite a while ago, and the original we really actually liked. It delivers multiple benefits. It's not really a product that fits to one category. It's more like just a multi-benefit everyday use product that has just a variety of benefits. The original, we found it helped with strength, it helped with leaning out, it helped with muscle hardness, and helped with performance. It was just a very interesting, unique supplement that, like I said, you can't really put into one category. With the new version, the goal is very much similar. It's kind of an all-in-one, a jack of all trades that intends to provide multiple benefits. This week, the brand essentially unveiled the supplement after teasing it for a number of weeks. They finally confirmed what ingredients they put in it and the benefits they're trying to go for, as well as made it available for pre-order. In terms of effects, the product is promoted, like I said, as a muscle potentiator that can help with lean mass, power, and strength. So again, very similar to the original that we enjoyed so much. And in terms of ingredients, again, the brand has brought together just a very unique combination, which includes ashwagandha, Vaso-6 is in the mix as well, and they've also put in estrogen and black pepper just to enhance the absorption of the whole thing. And if you are interested in this product, I would suggest going to the site, our site, Stack3d.com or Stack.com, and checking out the pre-order that they have on offer. Now, Inspired is very well known, or it often does do great introductory deals on pre-workouts when it makes them available for pre-order. That is no different with the new Legend. Usually the product will cost you about $64 from their website, but if you get in on the pre-order, which is, I think it's due to ship later this month, you'll get 35% off. So it drops that $64 price tag all the way down to $41, which is a pretty good deal. It's something we've seen them do similar with the likes of Devastate and their Fabulous Ember. They just always seem to offer great deals out of the gate for anyone who wants to, get in early. Next up, we actually have a new product from Gaspari. Like Inspired's Legend, this one is due to launch later this month, later in February. The product's called Proven Egg. Now, it's essentially just a straight egg white protein powder. We haven't seen all that much from Gaspari for quite some time. I know that they made a lot of noise in the middle of last year around the Olympia, and it kind of looks like they're ramping that back up. Proven Egg, like I said, it's a straightforward egg white protein powder, and it keeps things pretty clean, pretty simple. I mean, the nutrition profile is about as clean as you can get, almost, with 25 grams of protein, 0 fat, only 2 grams of carbs, and 1 gram of sugar. And when it comes to ingredients, it's pretty much just the egg white. They have a few other things in there, but like I said, it's a very clean, very simple, very straightforward protein. We drop it in two actual flavors with chocolate and salted caramel, and then and like I said, I believe that's coming out later this month. They also mentioned there will be an unflavored option as well, so make it easier and more convenient for anyone that wants to throw it in a shake with other flavors or mix it up with another supplement. It can make things a little easier. Moving on, we have Force Factor. Now, Force Factor is, you see these guys quite a bit. They drop a lot of new products quite frequently. I hadn't really heard from them that much over the past few months, but for 2019, they seem to be bringing it pretty heavily. They unveiled this past week a brand new series called the Platinum Series. They didn't really confirm anything for these products outside of the products in the series outside of what they're called, and the names do kind of give a little indication as to what they're about, but it's essentially what Force Factor describes as their most advanced high-end range of supplements. In the new upcoming Platinum series, there'll be 3 items. They got Alpha King, Immortal, Primetime, and Swagger. Now, Primetime appears to be some sort of like anti-aging formula, which does kind of feed into the name. You then have the product Swagger, which I feel like it's some sort of testosterone, libido supplement just based on the name. But again, we don't really have any confirmation. All we kind of have is the name. And then the last product we have is Alpha King Immortal. Now, this is something that we've actually seen or heard details on from Force Factor before. They actually launched a product called simply Alpha King last year, and not last year, the year before, which is essentially a testosterone booster. And then they followed that up with a spin-off called Alpha King Supreme, and then they followed that up with a product called Alpha King Fury. And so I guess they're going to keep it going with this new Platinum Series product called Alpha King Immortal. Now, like I said, we don't really know too much about any of the supplements in the line outside of the fact that they're coming soon. We'll have more details on them, hopefully between now and when they're launched, with their launch expected somewhere around the end of next month and early April. So we've got about a 2-month wait. But knowing Force Factor, they'll pass details on, and we'll get to share breakdowns and confirmation of what all of these supplements are about between now and that launch. Now we move to probably one of the most exciting stories of the week, and this was pretty cool to see. It's a new brand, well, not a new brand, it's just kind of like a relaunch of Jay Cutler's supplement line, which is still called Cutler Nutrition. Now, he's had supplements out over the past few years, but this kind of feels like just a new, fresh, clean slate launch, basically. With none of the supplements really keeping the same names as the previous Cutler Nutrition items, nor do they look the same, nor do they have the same formulas. like I said, it's just a big relaunch with a fresh new line, a fresh new look, fresh new set of formulas, and it just launched this past week directly through the Cutler Nutrition website. They have a total of, I believe it's 5 supplements in the lineup. You've got the 2 pre-workouts, Amplify and Prevail. Prevail. Amplify is sort of the stimulant-free pump supplement, whereas Prevail is the stimulant pre-workout, which is something you see a lot of brands with these days, doubling up and giving you the ability to stack those 2 products together. You then have the Cutler Nutrition Amino Supplement Generate, which sticks with the trend, or the trend we've seen quite a bit of over the past year, where instead of sticking BCAAs, brands have gone for a full blend of all 9 essential amino acids, and that is indeed the case for Jay Cutler's new Generate. And then you have the 2 capsule formulas from Cutler Nutrition with the Fat Burner Sculpt and the Testosterone Booster Triumph. The formulas are all fully transparent, so you know exactly what you're getting. There's nothing in blends. They nicely openly list each and every ingredient and dose per serving. You can head over to the website cutlernutrition.com and read all about them. This past weekend, when we shared it, they had put on a sale where you get 15% off the entire site. As far as I know, that was for the weekend only, and it did actually apply. It was a pretty good deal. It applied for individual purchases of supplements as well as stacks. And stacks, like a lot of places, they were already discounted, so you kind of saved in twice. Moving forward, we'll be sharing any updates, any news for that brand. So definitely, if you're interested, head over to cutlernutrition.com, and be sure to head over our site and keep an eye out for updates coming soon from Cutler Nutrition. So next on the show, we actually are going to talk about our now #1 rated pre-workout, which is HyperMax Extreme from Performax Labs. The product only just launched this week, exclusively through Natural Body. Had its formula revealed the week before, and these guys, Performax Labs, really hit it out of the park with this one. As I said, it's our #1 rated pre-workout. It just kills it in every area you could want. And here to talk about the product and the brand is the man behind Performax, Aaron.
Hey Shane, thanks for having me on today. Excited to give some more info about HyperMax Extreme and the brand as a whole.
Yeah, so I mean, I gotta know, how long had you been working on HyperMax Extreme? Because there wasn't too much gap between HyperMax and the Extreme version.
That's tough. I would probably say right now, or knowing that the launch is right now, it's probably been around a little bit over 6 months. As you saw, it wasn't from the kind of ground up. It wasn't kind of wiping the board clean or wiping the slate clean and kind of starting all over. Generally, product formulations for Performax can take easily a year sometimes, just with the back and forth, raw material supplying, the beta testing, the actual sourcing, so on and so forth. This one was a little bit quicker, but that just comes down to the fact that we had a good base that we were already working with. The current HyperMax, or the HyperMax prior to the Extreme version, hands down got amazing reviews. Obviously, it was your #2 best pre-workout, Fitness Deal News top 5, Price Plow's #1 non-DMHA pre-workout. So we had a good starting point, a really good starting point. Really what we did was some tweaks here and there, and a couple additions, Vaso 6 being one of them, to enhance the pumps, and 2.5 grams of betaine anhydrous to enhance the performance and strength. And then there were some tweaks with the iriadrensis moving into N,N-phenethyl-dimethylamine citrate. That was also increased to 250 milligrams, a little bit more hordenine. We swapped out the citrus aurantium for a pure 99% synephrine hydrochloride. So there were certainly some changes. I would say, 5 to 6 major changes, but we were starting out with a fairly successful base. So the total formulation time really wasn't as long as it usually is for us.
What were you like? I mean, because the Extreme version for me, it just kills it with the energy focus. The performance is as good as it was in the previous version. The pumps, again, were a big improvement for me. What were the main benefits that you were trying to make better, or just add compared to the previous HyperMax?
So obviously we were looking to potentiate all effects across the board, to make it very clear that, we believe it's the best pre-workout on the market. So I wouldn't say we were overly focused on one aspect. We wanted to improve the focus. We wanted to improve the energy. However, I think the one that shines through as the largest improvement was probably the pumps. We did get comments that the pump wasn't quite as strong as it could be, which again, with 6 grams of citrulline and a gram of agmatine, it should have delivered some really strong pump. However, the addition of Vaso 6, in my opinion, just really put it over the edge. So I wouldn't say that we were overly focused on doing one aspect, but I would say the one that probably shined through the strongest would probably be the pumps. I would say the focus and energy are probably a pretty close second. But we really were trying to create the most well-rounded product, whether it was performance, whether it was strength, pumps, energy, and focus. We were trying to deliver the full package.
So I mean, obviously, did you keep in mind, because I know you have a pump product, that you can stack with HyperMax. Did you kind of keep in mind that you had that still having been able to people being able to stack with it, or did you feel that limited? Or did you just sort of, you just tried to push the pumps as much as you can?
We kept in mind that we did have a pump product, but we didn't want to leave anything on the table. So we didn't want anybody to take HyperMax and go, I have to have a pump product. However, the addition of Vaso 6 does add some things that you wouldn't find in HyperMax that would actually make the pump stronger. 3 grams of glycer pump, there's no glycerol at all in HyperMax. Rutacarpine, which actually is an endothelial relaxant, so it allows for nitric oxide to have a greater effect. S-nitrosoglutathione, which I believe we're the only company to use, which is a nitrate donor. So nitric oxide donor, sorry. So having ingredients that were able to play through a different role through Vaso Max, we felt pretty comfortable really pushing HyperMax as strong as we could within those aspects. So definitely still stackable. Definitely, in my opinion, it's not redundant to stack the two. And I do think the cool combo is that you do end up getting 600 milligrams of Vaso 6 when you stack the two. So you get 3 or 4 ingredients that are independent to Vaso Max, but then you also get to double up on that Vaso 6. So they are synergistic as well.
So I mean, because you said you started, working on the extreme version 6 months before it released. Is it even worth asking if you're already working on another one, or you have something more in the works, or is HyperMax just going to be good since it's the best one out there? Is it good for the foreseeable future?
We are actually currently have another HyperMax in the works already, but I think that just goes towards the trends of the industry, and it goes towards what we're focused on, which is always bringing the most innovative, best products to the market. So right now, HyperMax Extreme is the best pre-workout on the market, in my opinion, and apparently your opinion too. But what will come out in the next 3 months will yet to be seen. So we don't want to kind of sit back and put our feet up and go, okay, we got the number 1 spot, because who knows what's going to happen in the next 3 to 6 months. So I wouldn't say it's just completely back to the drawing board, but we always want to keep something up our sleeve. We always want to continually be trying to improve on our formulations, so that in 6 months or a year, whenever the time is right, we can hopefully come out with something even better.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully we'll have you back soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Shane.
And that'll do it for this week's episode of the Stack Supplement Podcast. Be sure to tune in again next week for another wrap-up, and no doubt some more interviews and guests. You can catch the episode, as well as all of our others, on the usual podcast platforms, including iTunes, Spotify, and SoundCloud.